Okay, so I'm going to show you now how to make your sink tips for your fly lines, for your Skagit lines. We're going to start with a piece of T14, and I happen, Chris, this comes a T8, T14, T7,
T11,
yeah,
T14,
and
T17.
that's how many grains per foot. So 10 feet of T14 would be 140 grains. Now I like 12-foot tips, so, and I'm a bit over 6 feet tall, so if I take 2 arm lengths, there you go, there's a 12-foot tip. Now Chris, come on around here and get a shot over my shoulder how I'm going to do this. So we're going to use, I really like this camo color. Rio makes braided loops. Strike indicator color, clear. If I was tying a tip on a clear intermediate fly line material, I'd use the clear one. For high stick nymphing, I'd use this guy. For all my sinking tips, I like the camo color. These come with a little plastic sleeve. I personally don't care for them, so that's the first thing I do is strip that off. And these come in different sizes. Now, for what I like to do is use the larger size, the line 7 to 12 for one end of my tip, and then I will use here's an example. The one is about 50-pound strength, the other's about 30-pound strength. The end that's going to my fly line, my Skagit line, I use the big material. It makes your heavier loop, stronger loop. The one that's going to my leader, I like the 30-pound. The 30-pound's a little bit more difficult to get your T14 into, and one way to do that is to cut the T14 at an angle, and also as you push against this material, can you see that flex a little bit? You do a little bit of pushing at the end, that will loosen up that braid and make it easier for you. The hard part is always getting that material started.
So that's probably like lines 3 to 6 in terms of the braided butt.
Most likely.
Yeah.
Most likely.
The lighter stuff.
So in the interest of time and to make myself look a little bit better than I really am, I'm going to put on the heavy end, and you push, you see that loose material there, then you pinch it with your left hand and pull back with your right. And what that does, you push it in, you pinch it, and then you tighten that up. And that allows you to move your T14 all the way to the front. And again, Skagit Master Ed Ward shows this technique really nicely. He likes to have a couple of inches of material in there. I'm always one to go overboard, so I like 3 or 4 inches. So now here's the fun part. I like, at this point, I'll tie a nail knot. And to do that, I'm gonna see if this is gonna work or not. I'll often use a bodkin. This is a little bit thick. I want a piece of metal shaft here to tie my nail knot, and this may be a little bit thick. And if it does, we're gonna cut and come back here with another tool. So I'm just gonna go around here about 6 or 7 times. Nothing magic about that, but I think 3 is too few and 27 is too many wraps. And then here's where you slide this right down in that crevice between your fly line and that metal rod. You pull that in tight, pull this in tight. Now got this in my fingers, I pinch that, put a little pressure on here, and then I slide out the metal shaft. And here is where I will hold this with one hand and then hold that with my teeth and just gently snug it up, not tight. Then I'll look at it and see this is pretty smooth, but not quite smooth enough, so I'll roll it in my fingers and I'll use a thumbnail if I've got any high spots in that knot, and then I will really tighten it down. And I want it tighten it down to where that really bites into that material. And then I use a highly complex tool, which is nail clippers. The reason I like nail clippers is that they're instead of being a straight cut, they have that bit of an angle. I'll cut that tag on the nail knot line, cut that tag, and then I will trim this material forward. This is the extra braided butt material. I'll just get that all loose right down to my nail knot. I trim this off. You don't think I've ever managed to cut my T14 when I'm doing this, do you? Couldn't happen. So the idea here is to trim all of that material right down to the edge of the nail knot. And we're going to come close here. We're not going to get everyone. When I'm doing this, I'll really get right up there. So we're going to pretend I have every little snarl. Now this is tight. This is tough. But what I want to do now is get this jar open. There we go. Softex. Aquaseal is an awesome product. It takes a little bit longer to dry. This Aquaseal and Softex are both flexible materials. You can put a drop of super glue on here. It will do the job for you. The reason I like Softex, it goes on very easily. And I will coat about 1/2 inch of that material. And then I'll come up onto the fly line. This is a flexible glue. Has a wonderful scent. I guarantee you will be high if you leave this open too long. Within 10 minutes, this will be dry enough I can put a second coat on. You put a second coat on, let it dry. Next morning, several hours later, you're ready to fish. This will if I say it will not come off, and it does for somebody, am I in trouble?
Yes.
Okay. It is virtually impossible. Virtually means almost, but it could happen. I have not, knock on wood, ever had one of these joints come undone on me. There we go.